Hello and welcome to this Chessodoro game review. This was a classical over-the-board chess game, 19 plus 30, between 1900 player as white FIDE and 2100 plus as black. Student is white. Game started e4, c5, knight f3, d6, so open Sicilian, and we quickly get into Najdorf variation. White goes for this main line, bishop g5. Well, in Najdorf every move is possible, so calling this main line, many main lines, yeah. So e6, f4, bishop e7, queen f3. This line, black could go like, this is a knife edge theory, yeah. Black could also have went for some poison pawn and so on. So this is like theory jungle, yeah. Queen c7, long castles, knight bd7, and now you played bishop f2. So you say Najdorf, and again I mixed up the variation. Instead of bishop f2 I had bishop e2, yeah. So what can I say about it? And you say also, after which it is quite strange that the position simply collapses. Well, I don't think you're losing after bishop f2, yeah, but it does seem inaccurate, yeah. Why do we need for some reason to move this bishop? I don't see what he's doing. We're definitely not doing something on this diagonal, yeah, for a moment. So why do we need to move him? Maybe your intention was to clear h4, yeah, somehow, maybe that's the logic. But in Najdorf, as far as I know, we can even take sometimes on f6, yeah, to speed up the attack. So we don't need to move this bishop at all. Maybe you are afraid of some g5, perhaps. That would be another issue. So I would be thinking maybe just preparing, yeah, that's the main plan of white, just preparing kingside play. So bishop e2 does seem like in the right direction, yeah, move. And also, to not mix the moves up like that, yeah, against Najdorf system, you really shouldn't jump, yeah, from one game from one variation to another. Just prepare one good system against Najdorf and try to practice it all the time. I would suggest, yeah, if you, I don't know if you're jumping from variation to variation each game, yeah, but or simply if it's too much theory, yeah, I would advise to maybe learn a simpler system versus Sicilian, like for example, close Sicilian Grand Prix attack, or because nowadays it's hard to get advantage even in the main lines, yeah. So you could play something more suitable to you and learn less theory, and also avoid opponent preparation, yeah, because open Sicilian you basically have to know every system black can throw at you, yeah. So tons of theory, and for example you can play Alapin versus Sicilian, yeah. Maybe that's too positional, but you can also play Rossolimo, yeah. So that's all good options to skip theory jungle, yeah, like Najdorf. So unless you know that opponent plays a specific line, yeah, but even then it's kind of dangerous, because nowadays many players played very many different lines, yeah. So okay, some philosophical comments, but okay, you played bishop f2. Let's see this bishop e2 line. So this is the theory, and black has many moves. So sample line I found b5, and now there are some crazy theory like bishop f6. You see, white takes with the bishop here. You don't need to retreat it, yeah. Takes to speed up the attack. This time e5 happens, and this is some crazy lines from engine, from theory, yeah, even some sacks and counter sacks, and this could end in a draw by perpetual, or if white doesn't want to draw, they could go for some line like this, takes, and so on, or they could instead of bishop takes immediately go e5, but I think this is worse, and sack the queen like this. But engine kind of likes black here, so just sample lines, yeah, how we can go with the bishop e2. Usually the idea is takes and e5. If we go immediately g4, that's dubious, then we haven't prepared yet. So now black has a nice counter strike typical in the Najdorf, fighting for this e5 square, g5, very good move. And they take this square and they win back the pawn with nice counterplay. Yeah, the black has a big counterplay. They kind of stopped our attack. They want to take on g5. So we need to prepare this g4. Okay, in game you played bishop f2. But now black gets on the way with his queenside play, yeah, attack against us. So he develops first the pieces. And now you play g4. Maybe bishop d3. Better option, yeah. Maybe we can delay this g4 now, because black is fast in the center, yeah. Maybe we could wait for him to castle, for example, or try to stop his central play like this. You went g4, but black played a cool move g5 now, stopping this kind of attack a bit. Other good options for black was, yeah, because g4 is a bit risky, yeah, in this diagonal. So knight c5 is a good counter, and again, counter in the center, similar like what happened in the game. Another option, instead of knight c5, rook c8, and then again d5 and this typical jump, knight e5, and attack continues. Yeah, so I'm not sure about this g4 so fast. Yeah, maybe we should just finish development, for example. So okay, g5 happened, and now dubious move f5. You kind of pushed on, let opponent take this square if needed, yeah, but he pushed like this, which was actually the best move. So basically when we pushing like this, our attack was blocked. So instead of f5, I think we could use this g5 move and play h4. And you also commented here, it seems that no very unreasonable moves were made, although the pawn structure was probably underestimated and there were no problems for black. Well, he made some inaccuracies, yeah, so that kind of had an influence on the position, and you fixed the pawn structure. Yeah, we needed to keep it more fluid. So for example here, h4 was the best. Trying to keep it fluid, yeah, not close the position. You went to attack on the king side, yeah, so why kind of close it down? You want to keep it, the structure fluid, yeah, going. So let him take on f4, yeah, and now we crash through. We crash through, and some line like this could even end in a draw, like we repeat the moves. Or yeah, because queen nicely defends the rook. If he takes, we are crashing through for the king side, yeah. So h4 was definitely best move here. f5 he played, but now black gets basically central counterplay, yeah. He kind of kept, we still want to go h4, but we are not fast enough, yeah. He kept this position closed, and now he's very fast with this d5 preparation. So now I think probably game losing mistake, I would say, yeah. Very natural move. Of course we need to play this. We cannot go h4 now, yeah, what we want, because there is a simple tactic. Yeah, he has enough pieces on the c file, so boom, this move, yeah, and we lose everything because we cannot take off the mate. So h4 is not an option. You played bishop d3, very natural move defending, but you allowed a powerful typical Najdorf, yeah, freeing move and central counterplay d5, after which probably we are in deep trouble as white. So instead of bishop d3, kind of had to spot this d5, yeah, during the game. You had to go rook d2, I think, better way and only way to not get significantly worse as white. And this was a big mess of moves, yeah, like pieces sacrificing left and right. Even queen c3, yeah, using the pin. We could use something like this, win the piece back, and yeah, but we are still alive as white here, yeah. We have fighting chance, and no attack yet left on our king. So this was the best option, this rook d2 idea, to kind of discourage d5. Still he can play it, yeah, but then it gets messy. But bishop d3 kind of closed your rook on d5, so now he's yeah, easily playing d5. And basically this pawn is dropping, and we also need to defend c2, so our position is kind of overloaded here. Bishop e4 you played, but yeah, this bishop is distracted now. Yeah, you cannot take mate, and bishop b3 also threatening, so you sack the exchange. Yeah, there is no other way, because also bishop is hanging. Yeah, so you see how this bishop d3, basically in couple moves we had a losing position, so you had to sack an exchange not to lose more. Yeah, not to lose a piece. And yeah, basically black is up in exchange, they just need to consolidate. Yeah, so bishop b7 you played, he went here, e4 is a powerful move as well. Yeah, so kind of freeing the bishop, maybe freeing the position. He later played something like this, rook b8 and bishop c6. At least maybe you should go all in. Yeah, create some mess, even if this bishop is getting kind of trapped. Sample line could be, yeah, this bishop is getting trapped, but we are at least doing something. Yeah, fighting back somehow, creating some tactical mess like this. And yeah, bishop can be taken, but then still practical problems. Yeah, for queen e5. Yeah, for black if the bishop is taken and so on. So at least you should have taken some more material. Yeah, if you're down exchange. So bishop c6 you went for h6. Now bishop e3. Yeah, if king a2, he could just increase this pressure. For example, bishop e3, he went here, exchange. Yeah, but piece exchanges are good for him. And now the final stages of the game, he went here, f6 last try. Yeah, we have to try something, otherwise it's just lost. He will start exchanging everything, and you went with the queen in, but now he made a very powerful e4 move, freeing his bishop, freeing his queen. c2 is hanging. Yeah, e4, nice blocking tactic. And you have if you take the pawn, then queen e5, of course, exchanges more probably. Yeah, or yeah, something else. You could just wait for it with this exchange. Yeah, but bishop got opened, so if maybe c3 could be played, but again this queen in, and for example exchanges like that. Yeah, and wins the endgame. So bishop d4 you went, but now we're letting the queen in. Yeah, some checks, but they are not enough. Yeah, and e5, final move of the game. e4 is unavoidable. Yeah, some checks, but he hides. So conclusions of this game: all trouble started basically with his bishop f2, but that move alone shouldn't lose the game. Yeah, bishop f2 you played, so main idea for white is kind of prepare this attack. Yeah, bishop e2 g4, or maybe go bishop e2 with e5. Yeah, sometimes this idea. So but bishop f2 alone, yeah, shouldn't have lost the game, even if it's kind of waste of time a bit. You had opportunities like h4. Yeah, so this move here before f5. Yeah, you had this opportunity. So you see, this wasn't so bad. It was kind of equal chances until here. You had just to find h4 move to complicate. And the critical moment, I would say, was this, when you went bishop d3, not kind of missing maybe d5, or not evaluating it enough. Yeah, that is so powerful for black. You had to go rook d2 and complicate here. Yeah, and after this d5, it was just Najdorf one-way traffic. Yeah, opponent just converted really well. He won an exchange, and yeah, you had some practical maybe tries, but opponent played really well for his FIDE level. Yeah, so he kind of converted without too much problems that position. So main takeaways from the game: maybe learn something simpler against Sicilian. Yeah, or if you're really learning against Najdorf, yeah, and if you want to really play open Sicilian, then learn some simple good system. Yeah, and play it only that system. Yeah, don't try to maybe jump around from variation to variation. Play only that. and try, yeah, because stronger players, yeah, they know their stuff, especially as black. And for me, playing open Sicilian is kind of a bit impractical because you never know what they will play. Yeah, you have to be prepared against every possible defense, basically. So think about this practicality, yeah, of open Sicilian. Maybe you want to even switch opening. So also maybe study model games of Najdorf, yeah, how these attacks go through. What are the key ideas? Yeah, because you see, even if you mix up the moves, it's not like the end of the game. Yeah, bishop 50. Okay, it was dubious move, but if you know the ideas, maybe this h4, for example, yeah, if you know this e5 idea, you can forget the theory, yeah, forget the exact moves, but you know the idea. So important to study model games, yeah, what in openings you play. So okay, I hope you find this useful, and we will meet in the next game. Thanks.